Prima Advanced User Forum. This is Mike with Prima Software US. I will be your host today, and Patrick will be available in the chat to answer your questions as I cover the content on your screen. You can access the chat by hovering over the bottom border of the display window and clicking on the link to the chat pop-up. After I cover the content today, we will unmute everyone and open the floor for about 15 minutes of questions. As I stated earlier, we will be covering the reporting module in Prima. This will be an overview of the module, but we will have more in-depth forums on reporting in the future. So, to access our reports, we go into our reports module. Does everyone have a visual? Good. Okay, just making sure. Once we're in the reports module, I'd first want to cover the types of reports, and then we'll go over the report formats. So for the report types, we have our standard and custom. Standard reports are your out-of-the-box templated reports. Your custom reports would be any of these templated reports that have been modified and saved. As far as formats, we have our spreadsheets, analysis, and management reports. Spreadsheets are self-explanatory. They're your basic Excel formats. An example would be your sales dashboard report. The analysis reports are similar to your pivot tables that you're used to in Excel. An example would be your sales analysis reports. And lastly, we have our report management, which is accessed by clicking on this last box here. Your management reports are your PDF types. They really can't be edited, but all of the data in there has been painstakingly compiled for you, so it's pretty on point. So now we'll go over different examples of each one. So let's start with our spreadsheets here. So we'll have all checked as far as our report types. For formats, we'll just check spreadsheet and search. And we're going to look at that sales dashboard report. So we hit search. And as the name indicates, the first tab here, and you see several tabs on the bottom here broken down for you. But the first tab gives you an overview of everything. Not many modifications are needed on this screen. As you can see, it's very detailed and broken down for you. So this is a good start point for your report. However, when you go into the different tabs, you'll see a further breakdown. Sales orders by line, and so forth. And let's just click on that sales orders tab. From here, we can look at some modifications to the report. Now, this behaves pretty much as any Excel report would work. You can drag your columns, rearrange them as you like. You can obviously export to Excel. Also, in each report, you'll notice a criteria tab where you can narrow it down if you're just searching for a particular company or a particular date range, an account manager, business group. Let's say you're just looking for your educational companies or that are assigned to that business group, or your government contracted. You can narrow it down from there. But we're just going to leave this. It's all inclusive right now. If you do make any changes in the criteria, be sure to save your criteria. We can go back to the spreadsheet here. And I just want to go over some neat ways to modify the report here. So we're in our sales orders tab here. And as I mentioned, you can rearrange these columns any way you like. To edit the page, you just click on the edit layout. And once you maximize this goes side by side with the report. So let's say, for instance, I wanted to add a column. I could right-click, insert, indicate the number of columns that I want to add, hit OK. Now we have a blank column here. With that highlighted, we can go over here to our modification panel. And what we're looking for here is our data field and our label. So our data field is going to indicate what information is pulling in. So let's say I wanted to get the order number. or order ID. I could click that, and then you see that pulls the information in, names our header, and autofills the data. If I wanted to change the header title there, I would go over to our label, which is just named column F for the moment. We can change that to order number, hit enter, and that populates real time. Pretty straightforward. Just be sure whenever you make changes to hit File, Apply, and Exit. That way you won't have to duplicate your efforts. Everything will be saved for you. Okay, so next I would like to go into our analysis reports, which is, again, is very similar to your pivot tables. To do that, we go back to our reports. We want to change to analysis and search. And we'll go down to our sales analysis. And just at first glance here, you can see the information available to you is a wealth of information. But we do have the ability to add or subtract and modify as you see fit. If you see over here to your left, there's an attributes that can be expanded. And let's say for this report, we wanted to add account manager. We'll take that and drag that over here, and you see that populate. You can also rearrange the order of the columns by dragging. Let's see, we want to see account managers first. We'll drag them over here. To remove it, you simply go here and remove account manager. Oops. Just make sure that when you're hovering over the line there that it is highlighted in green, and it should allow you to drop it right in. There we go. And again, you can rearrange that. And of course, you still have your criteria here to narrow it down by date, company, and so forth. Just remember to save. In addition to your attributes, we do have measures down here as well. So if we want to look at actual profit, we can take that and we would drag that over here to our data field. You see that drops in for each month. And to remove it, just click and indicate to remove. So let's say we wanted to drill down a little deeper into our attributes here. So let's add that account manager back in. We can right click on that field or any one of the fields. And we want to go down to quick filter, show quick filter. And I will expand that a little bit so you can see it. So this is useful if, let's say, you're an account manager and you're only concerned with your team and you just want to remove blanks and anyone who's not on your team. So we can get rid of, sorry, Andrea and Andre. And this narrows it down. And if you just wanted to look at your own performance there, you can just take everyone out and say, oh, I need to get to work. Very neat feature. And let's say you're kind of questioning where some of this data is coming from and you want to do your due diligence to make sure that everything's accurate. You can right click on any one of these fields and view the underlying data. And this gives you a complete breakdown of where this data is pulling from, and I'll expand that for you as well. There's a ton of information on here. So if you're going to look into it, you may want to select all and copy to clipboard. At this point, you can paste that to an external document like Word or Excel. Go back and look at these sales orders and make sure that everything is adding up properly. And that's pretty much it for the analysis report. Lastly, we have our management reports. Always get in the habit of saving if you've made any changes. So for our management reports, we click on this last tab here. search, and that will bring up all of the available reports under that criteria. For the management report today, we're going to look at the stock evaluation. Very useful report. Just keep in mind this is a PDF report whenever you're in the management module. However, the stock valuation is available in a spreadsheet for those of you who want to manipulate and rearrange the data. That is available in the spreadsheet as well. If you just click spreadsheet, you'll see a stock valuation there. So we'll go back to management, search, that stock valuation. Very visual, very management oriented. But again, if you want to rearrange and modify data, you can go to the spreadsheet option. Just bear in mind there are several page numbers on here, and you can navigate by using the arrows at the top here. Now, if you're looking at this stock valuation report, and this gives you a breakdown of everything on hand as well as the value of the total value of what we have indicated. If you indicate, if you saw an item showing 5 and you know that you have 10, this is all contingent upon the most recent stock take. So you can always update that by doing a stock take, updating your inventory, saving that stock take, and then refreshing the report, and it will update real time. And that's it for the report management. Lastly, I would like to touch on how to automate these reports. Let's say you have a sales team that you would like to receive certain reports on certain days at certain times for whatever the case may be. I'll show you how to set that up. To automate our reports, we do want to go over into our admin. And once we're in admin, we want to go to our automation, auto report setup, and we want to add an automated report. These are the existing automated reports that we have. So we want to click New. You want to indicate which type of report. Once that's triggered, we will have a drop down of all of the available management reports in this case. We can set up our distribution list. Something in the subject and body so that people know what they're reading. And one step I neglected here, because we are looking at the existing, we want to click New first. My apologies. So we hit New first. Then we indicate the type of report, distribution list, and so forth. Got a little ahead of myself there, sorry. So now that we have our criteria entered, we hit Save. And you'll see that this has been entered right here. The only thing we need to do is tell it when to run this report. So now that we have that line highlighted, we just click on Add Schedule. And we tell it whether it's going to be weekly or monthly, start date, the reoccurrence, and check the applicable dates. And most importantly, make sure that that is enabled. Have our time set, and we hit Save. And you'll see that all of that information has been populated. And that's it. The designated people will receive this assigned report on the indicated date and time. As with all automated features, it's important to make sure that the EDC is running so that it can be triggered and prompted to send these reports out. But that pretty much concludes our forum for today. And we will open the floor up for questions.